Okay, so welcome Anna to Escape the Rat Race Radio. How are you today?
Very good. Been up for a long time, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, brilliant. Now, Anna, we have known each other now for probably nearly 3 years. You've pretty much been one of my founder members at Escape the Rat Race since the early days. And it's been such a pleasure seeing your progress over the last 2 to 3 years. And we've worked together on a few things, and you really have epitomized the whole Escape the Rat Race ethos. So it's a pleasure to have you here today. So would you mind starting by just telling everyone listening what business you're in currently and what specifically that involves day to day?
Okay, hi. So thanks for inviting me. I'm currently teaching mindfulness mainly locally. So that involves me going around to different venues, just delivering some mindfulness classes, sessions to various people. And yeah, pretty flexible.
Yeah,
Running my
excellent.
own business, basically.
Yeah, indeed. And we're going to split today's interview into three parts. And so part one is where you were. So Anna, can you tell our listeners where you used to work and what you used to do?
Okay, so gosh, I can't go through my CV, but I think I've done nearly everything in my life, from civil service up to waiting on tables. Okay, last job was teaching secondary school, and the last couple of years actually as an education advisor for a large academy chain.
Okay, great. And can you describe at what point you realised that you didn't want to work for somebody else any longer, and what were the first steps that you took to start changing your situation?
Okay, I actually, if I say hate's a strong word, but I actually just never liked working for anybody. So I guess I've wanted to never work for anybody ever in my life, ever since I can remember. But the final, I guess, and I kind of went in and out. So I've had spurts of self-employment over the years as well. But I was made redundant from my last job. So then that kind of was the decision that that's it, I'm never going back.
Yeah. Okay. And did you go about looking for courses or learning or reading books? And how did you start kind of looking at the opportunities that are available to you?
Well, I kind of was already looking even before I was made redundant, because I think when you hit a certain age, you start seeing all the redundancy for the older, we're no good anymore and they want to get rid of us or whatever it is. So I was already feeling it. So yeah, reading books, going on courses. I did a couple of internet marketing stuff, property, which I've always been kind of involved in for many years. And books and
Right.
courses. Yep.
And were there any in particular that stood out, which you would say recommend to any listeners?
I guess Rich Man Poor Man's always been a big one, and is it The Science of Getting Rich?
Yeah, Wallace
The
Wattles.
Science,
Yeah.
that's it. Those two books, and one of Tony Robbins, who I've read over the years a few times actually. Whenever I feel like, oh, I'm not motivated.
No, excellent choices there. So it's slightly different in that you didn't necessarily decide on your Escape the Rat Race date when you were going to quit. You said that, you had the unemployment there. What were the decisions you made, Anna, or the parameters that you set yourself to help you decide how long you were going to give yourself to actually start generating an income without having to go back into employment?
Okay, well, I guess my story is a little bit different. As you know, I also got divorced a few months later. So when the house was sold, I kind of made the decision that instead of doing what fear was telling me to do, which is go the safe way and put it into a property and buy another property, I said, no, I'm just going to use that to live and do the stuff I put off for so many years and focus on setting myself up. So I guess I've been a bit risky. I've taken a lot of risks, but I've had an amazing few years, to be honest. Instead of sitting there sort of going, oh my God, my marriage is ended, my house is gone, I kind of went, screw it.
Absolutely. Well, you took,
Yeah.
you could say you took the negatives and certainly turn them into a positive, and actually
Mm.
turn that then into a business where you can help others. So we'll come on to that in a bit more detail in
Yep.
just a second then, Anna. So let's look at part two now, where you are now. So Anna, how long ago was it now since you quit the rat race?
Gosh, since I met you, so it is actually 3 years, believe it or not. Okay,
Yeah.
so because it's going on to 4 years since I got divorced, and it wasn't long after that that we kind of hooked up.
Mm.
So
And what would you say are three of the biggest realizations that you've had since transitioning from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur?
it's not easy. Uh, it is easier, if I'm going to be honest, to just get up every morning and go into a job. It's easier in the sense of the security, which is false anyway. But the risks that I took and the life that I live now, when somebody says to me, it's okay for you, I think, yeah, it is okay for me now, but I worked damn hard to get here. So the realization is the risks, the fear, all of that I've gone through has been more than worth it, because I just feel so liberated.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can do whatever I want. I don't ask anybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know we've had a few conversations over the time about the picture that's often painted in this world of you can get rich quickly and you can do this course and become an overnight success. And we both know that that simply is not true, is it?
Definitely. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because people need to wake up to that. And in actual fact, even if you did get rich overnight, you probably wouldn't even enjoy it. So, it's
Yeah.
follow your passion is what I say. I've ended up doing what I should have been doing because I love what I do now. And so everything that didn't work out, great.
Yeah. And what do you love most about having your own business, Anna?
It's obviously the freedom. I have a big thing about, I don't like asking people what I should and shouldn't do. I like the idea that I can just say I'm away next week. I can plan my time. I can have a day off when I feel like it. Just being free. That's it.
Yeah.
There is nothing else I can say.
Yeah, and you've got some certificates in the background for anyone that's
Oh,
watching the
yeah.
video here. So
No.
talk about some of that freedom. What's that allowed you to do, Anna?
Well, I've been sort of studying, I guess, for the last 3.5 years. So after my divorce, I just kind of didn't know how to deal with it. So I kind of fell into mindfulness for myself. God, how am I going to get through this stuff? And just kept going with it and experiencing it and meeting people, and then just ended up, teaching it. And all those certificates, some of those are my degree. But most of them are my mindfulness, which I just recently did the final assessment, which I was really, really pleased about. So I am now officially able to say I am a mindfulness teacher.
Yeah, well, congratulations for that, Anna. And
Thank
I know
you.
that, always on Facebook, I'm seeing pictures of you popping up when, on weekends away, and in Nepal as well, where I know
Yeah.
you are very deeply fond of as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first trip, I think.
Yeah.
On my own, first trip to Nepal, all on my own.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So looking forwards now then, Anna. So where you want to get to. So did you set yourself any goals or targets when you decided to quit the rat race and start your own business? And have you reached those yet?
Yeah, definitely. I think all I did was stick at a kind of amount of income that I needed to live the life I need to live. Nothing outrageous, nothing. All I said is, as long as I'm covering my outgoings and I've got enough to live comfortably, I'm happy. After that, of course, if I want to build on that, that's fine. But my first goal was to just cover my outgoings, which on and off I'm mostly doing now. But I also have other income streams, so I'm not just relying on me working. My ultimate goal is not to work, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you're doing that. You say multiple streams, the property income,
Yeah.
online courses now that you've been developing.
Yes,
and
forgot about those. I've just gone into a joint project with Olive, and we're just releasing the first online course, I think next week after.
That's great. And Olive, you met through the Escape the Rat Race community,
Yes.
and it's all about, you know, the connections that people can make, people who are like-minded and on the same path. So that's really fantastic to see. And do you feel as if you have greater potential to achieve your life goals now, Anna, that you have more control over your time?
Oh my God, most definite. Yeah. I mean, you know, every time I sort of like come up with ideas and I'm like, wow, I can actually do this. And there isn't a kind of, like when you're working for somebody who say, well, I reached that scale and it's done. It's almost like, well, I can do this too, and I can do that. And there isn't an end. There isn't an end. I can't see an end.
No. And you build up a kind of resilience, don't you, when you turn into, you know, an entrepreneur and you learn the business side of things. You really do get a tougher skin and realize that, you know, you can achieve much more than you thought was possible previously.
Oh, most definite. And you kind of are much more open. You're open to it as well. You're just like, oh, I'll give this a little go. If it don't work, then okay, no problem. It's just freeing.
Yeah, no, that's great. And what's the one most important thing, Anna, that you believe is going to help you keep progressing over the next 12 months?
I think focus, staying focused, keeping the right people around you, because that's, you know, really, really important. The effect of others around you. So, you know, in the group and talking to people in the group is really important. So focus and having the right people, and not listening to those silly little voices in the mind that pop up sometimes.
And obviously, being the mindfulness expert that you are, Anna, would you say mindfulness can assist people with their focus and with overcoming this little voice?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I mean, I work with people that are going through very, you know, really traumatic things like cancer and depression and stuff like that. And it definitely helps them. I've had 2 one-to-ones at home this week as well. So, you know, yeah, of course, I live it, you know, I believe in it 100%. Those little voices are the ones we need to conquer before we even begin to think about the bigger things.
Yes, yeah, it's often said success begins in the mind. Yeah,
definite.
So Anna, final words for anyone listening right now who's squashed up on a train on the way to work or stuck in a traffic jam, and they really want to do something different with their lives, but perhaps are still letting fear hold them back. What would you like to say to them?
I can only say really one thing. Life is much shorter than we think it is, and before you know it, you're looking back and living with regret. Don't live with regret. Don't live with regret. It's one of the what is it? The 5 regrets of the dying is just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, that's it. And I often say, you know, with starting your own business, entrepreneurship, obviously don't just jump ship and, you know, not have, you know, leave yourself in a dangerous financial situation. But, you know, what is the worst that can happen? You just go back and get a job. If it doesn't work out, you know, it's nothing really worse than that.
What I've always said, I'd rather sweep the streets than do what somebody tells me to do. So, you know, that's my sort of rock bottom.
Anna, you've been a fantastic guest today on Escape the Rat Race Radio. It's a pleasure to have you on here. I look forward to seeing you at another meetup or workshop very soon.
We'll be soon, as soon as I get some free time.
Okay. Take care, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.